Huh?
Abib.
Okay, Abib. Abib is what, dog?
The first month of the new year.
Okay. So we are coming up in the season of the first month of the new year. I say season because I understand nobody knows. I ain't gonna say nobody knows. Very few know the real calendar. Whoever they are, they haven't appeared yet because everybody's still fighting over the calendar. So we don't know. I'm 100% sure what calendar is supposed to be what. So I'm not arguing over calendar. Just want to put that out there now. Don't want to argue over calendar. However, we do know the season. We are in the season of Abib, which is the first month. It also means, well, it means ripen, but that is the name of spring. So Abib is spring, but it also means ripen, as in the ears on the barley, right? So we understand that. So we are coming into that season. Along with the season of Abib and the month of Abib comes what? It's okay. Come, Pesach, commonly known as Passover. So we are coming into the spring portion of our holy seasons. There's a spring holy season and there is a fall holy season. Spring holy season begins with our new year, which comes up in a week for us, and then you go into Pesach 14 days later, right? So cool. So we understand that. Now what we're going to go into is we're going to read about Pesach, right? So we're going to start about Pesach, and then we're going to get into 11. So it's not, well, 11 I think would be a very interesting conversation. All right, so we're going to, what book should we go to for Pesach? I just want to know if y'all know y'all book or not. Okay, so we're in the book of Shemot, commonly called Exodus. Anybody know the chapter? 12. Okay. 10, 12. You said 10 through 12? 10 or 12. Yeah, no, you're right, though. 12. So we're going to the book of Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 12. And we're going to start at verse 1, right? So backstory, since I'm not picking on you, right? I'm going to start from the beginning, and I don't know where you at, right? And I don't know where you at, but you got friends already, so I'm sure you know a little bit. Okay, so Pesach or Passover. Passover, it is the what number plague? Okay, so it's the 10th plague. So I'm sure you've seen Prince of Egypt, right? So the 10 plagues and stuff like that. Promise. Anyway, all right, so we got 10 plagues. So we, as the children of Israel, we are in Israel, commonly called Egypt, and the Most High is going to war for us against not only Mitzrayim, but he's going to war against the gods or the false mighty ones of Egypt. So he's going to war. We give him, we don't lose. Well, he doesn't lose. So he's doing what he do. The 10th plague is where we come up on Pesach. So chapter 12 is where we're going to get into, where the Most High is speaking to Moshe, telling him how to prepare the people for what is about to take place. All right. So, okay. So let's go to Shemot, commonly called Exodus chapter 12. And it reads, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron in the land of Mitzrayim, saying, this new month is the beginning of new months for you. It is the first new month of the year for you. Speak to all the congregation, saying, on the 10th day of this new month, each one of them is to take for himself a lamb according to the house of his father, a lamb for his household. And if the household be too small for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next to his house take it according to the number of beings, according to each man's needs. You make your count for the lamb. Let the lamb be a perfect one, 1 year old male. Take it from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same new month. Then all of the assembly of the congregation of Israel shall slay it between the evenings. What does that mean? Between the evenings means what? So is Pesach the whole day?
No.
Pesach is what?
It's the night leading into
Okay, well, the evening.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so it is the evening of the 14th. So Pesach is like you have a very short window to do Pesach. It's not when you want to do it. If you do it at nighttime, you miss it. You do it when it's like this, you're too early. Pesach is a time slot, right? Verse 7. And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel of the houses where they eat it. And they shall eat the flesh on that night, roasted in fire. With unleavened bread and with bitter herbs they shall eat. Do not eat it raw. nor boiled at all with water, but roast it in fire, its head with its legs and its inward parts. And do not leave of it until morning. And what remains of it until morning you are to burn with fire. And this is how you eat it. Your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is the Pesach of Yahuwah. And I shall pass through the land of Mitzrayim, on that night, and shall strike all of the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both man and beast. And on all the mighty ones of Mitzrayim, I shall execute judgment. I am Yahuwah. And the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I shall pass over you, and shall let the plague not come on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Mitzrayim. And this day shall become to you a remembrance, and you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahuwah throughout your generations. Celebrate it as a festival, an everlasting law. Highlight that verse. 14. And this day shall become to you a remembrance, and you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yah throughout your generations. Celebrate it as a festival, an everlasting law. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Indeed, on the first day you cause leaven to cease from your homes. For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that being shall be cut off from Israel. And on the first day it is a set apart gathering. And on the seventh day you have a set apart gathering. No work at all is done on them. Only that which is eaten by every being, that alone is prepared by you. And you shall guard the festival of Matzot, or unleavened bread. For on this same day I brought your divisions out of the land of Israel. And you shall guard this day throughout your generations, an everlasting law. In the first month, on the 14th day of the new month, in the evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month in the evening. For 7 days no leaven is to be found in your houses. For if anyone eats what is leavened, that same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether sojourner or a native of the land. Do not eat that which is leavened. In all of your dwellings you are to eat unleavened bread. I'm going to drop down to verse 26. Same chapter, verse 26. And it shall be, when your children say to you, what does this service mean to you? Then you shall say, it is the Pesach, slaughtering of Yah, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Mitzrayim when he smote the Mitzri and delivered our households, and the people bowed their head and gave obedience. Obedience. Okay. All right. So Pesach is between the evening on the 14th day, right? Let me see the ratio. Okay, cool. All right. Now, in fact, drop down to verse 42. Verse 42. Still chapter 12, verse 42. It reads, it is a night of watches unto Yahuwah for bringing them out of the land of Mitzrayim. This is that night of watches unto Yahuwah for all the children of Israel throughout their generations. And Yahuwah said to Moshe and Aaron, this is the law of the Pesach. No stranger, no son of a stranger is to eat of it. But any servant a man has bought for silver when you have circumcised him, let him eat of it. A sojourner and a hired servant does not eat of it. It is eaten in one house. You are to not take any of the flesh outside of the house, nor are you to break any bone of it. All the congregation of Israel are to perform it. And when a stranger sojourns with you and shall perform the Pesach to Yahuwah, let all of his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and perform it, and he shall be as a native of the land. But let no uncircumcised eat of it. There is one Torah for the native born and for the stranger who sojourns among them. And all the children of Israel did as Yahuwah commanded Moshe and Aaron. So they did. And it came to be on that same day that Yahuwah brought the children of Israel out of the land of Israel according to their divisions. Okay. So unpacked all that, right? Anybody have any questions or comments on Pesach based on any of this? So I got a couple questions. One, it said that it is to be, you are to eat the flesh in the house, right? So what does that mean to you? You are, if you are to eat the flesh in the house, 2021, what does that mean to you?
Like, put it this way. it's meant to be a gathering, a feast of gathering. And to me, that's just like, I don't make the excuse, okay, well, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna go to this at my house. No, do it with your Mishmakai, your brothers, do it with the people you're supposed to be with, and don't try to find a way to separate yourself and still be with.
You said some key words right there, Keith. One, you said it is something that is done, it is a family event. So this would be the family. So your Mishpacha, your Knesset, your community, so on and so forth, that would be the family. So Pesach portion is a family portion. But then you have 7 days of a feast. Are you only feasting with the family that you did Pesach with? So Pesach is for the family, but you have 7 days of a festival. So who are you partying with? You're partying with the nation. Because what are you supposed to do during that 7 days? Another one of the feast days is what? No. In this little bracket.
Shabbat.
Okay, so that's like the middle. So within this week period, you have three feasts.
Unleavened bread. First fruits.
First fruits is what? When you bring the first of your offering to the Creator, right? So you're supposed to be bringing that to the temple. Because where are you supposed to be at for Pesach? Okay, you're supposed to be in Jerusalem for Pesach. I know that's going to cause some. Yeah, we'll deal with that when we get there. But for Pesach, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread, this Pesach is a portion of the entire feast. It is just the memorial portion, which is why it is important, because that piece is the memorial of the Creator casting judgment on the nations and those who are disobedient. Because you still had to put a blood on the door, regardless of whether you was Egyptian or Israelite. The blood wasn't on the door; it was judged. So it is a feast where the Most High saved those who are obedient and led us up out of Mizraim. Okay, cool. So then that's that one portion for the evening. So you eat, you stay in your house, or you stay with the family for that particular evening. Then after that, now you are going to where the remainder of the nation is in order to gather with the nation. Because there will be no need to gather there will be no need for you to go to Jerusalem if you're just going to stay in your house for 7 days. So the Most High said, okay, boom, for 7 days, all right, this is where y'all gonna be at. So all of Pesach is not about anything other than a memorialization of what took place that night, however many years ago. Okay, cool. All right. Let's go to the book of Devarim, commonly called Deuteronomy. Question. Matter of fact, hold on, y'all can still go to Deuteronomy 16, right? But so it says, all right, cool, you recorded. It said that no stranger can eat of it, but then it says a sojourner can eat of it. What's going on? Is the Most High confused?
Well, that's the definition of what stranger and sojourner, right? That makes a difference.
What you mean?
As in, a stranger is just someone who's passing through the land, possibly a sojourner is somebody who communes with people, who lives amongst the people. There's someone who still keeps the law. That's what I said. There's one law for the sojourner and the natural.
So you have 3 different types. Well, in this particular case, you have 2 different types of stranger. You have the ger, which, as Adon said, that the ger is the one that there is no separation between you and the ger. As an Israelite, there is no separation between you and the ger. Other than there are a few laws that would distinguish, as in, we can't eat anything that dies in itself, but we can give it to the ger. So there are a few laws, but for the most part, the ger and Israel, the Israel. But then you have, as Don said, the Nokri or the Nakri, who is not following any of the laws of the Most High. You may have hired them to come and fix your roof. So they're living under your roof in order to fix your roof. And once they fix the roof, they leave it. They don't participate in Pesach, because Pesach is what kind of event? Family event. So if you're not part of the family, you don't partake. That's why you also have to be circumcised. circumcision is a mark or a sign of the covenant we know, which is the Abrahamic covenant, but that falls under our covenant too. So if you ain't circumcised, you're not part of the family. That's one of the signs of the family. So you have two different strains. So I just want to let that be known for, that's why it says that there. So if anybody asks me, that's why. All right, let's go back to Dabarim, what commonly called Deuteronomy, chapter 16. Starting at verse 1. It says, guard the new moon, the new month of Abib, and perform the Pesach. To Yahuwah your Elohim, for in the new month of Abib, Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out of Mitzrayim by night. And you shall slaughter the Pesach to Yahuwah your Elohim from the flock and the herd in the place where Yahuwah chooses to put his name. Eat no leavened bread with it. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction, because you came out of the land of Mitzrayim in haste, so that you remember the day in which you came out of the land of Mitzrayim all the days of your life. And no leaven should be seen with you in all of your borders for 7 days. Neither should any of the meat which you slaughter in the evening on the first day stay all night until morning. You are not allowed to slaughter the Pesach within any of your gates, which Yahuwah your Elohim gives you. But at the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell, there you slaughter the Pesach in the evening, at the going down of the sun, at the appointed time you came out of Mitzrayim. And you shall roast and eat it in the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses. And in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. 6 days you eat your unleavened bread. And on the 7th day there is a closing festival to Yahuwah your Elohim. You do no work. So what do you see the difference between here in Deuteronomy 16 and in Exodus chapter 12?
Can't be within your own gates. Your place where they place his name.
You can't do what in your own gates?
Sacrifice.
Okay. Come. So you can't kill the Pesach lamb and within your own gates. So, and what house were you slaughtering in Exodus chapter 12 if it's not in your own gates?
It's the house he put his name on. He told him to do it there.
Right.
That's why it's okay, right?
Right, so you're going to Jerusalem in order to do Pesach as far as slaughtering the lamb.
Well, right now.
Well, that was my question after this. But as far as this is concerned, you're supposed to be going where? You're supposed to be going to Jerusalem.
16, yes.
Okay, so 16, you're going to Jerusalem. 12, it says you stay in the house and you do what you do. Yes, sir.
Would he have put his name on that house because he commanded him to do there?
As far as wherever you're going to be at in Jerusalem?
No, in Exodus.
Oh, in
His
Exodus 12.
commandments would that been him in a way putting his name on all their houses?
He had not yet put his name on them. So
Because he did with direct command. That's what I'm saying.
yes, because Pesach, so Exodus 12, and I'm gonna get you on Exodus 12. Exodus 12 is the first Pesach, right? So then after that, now you have a memorialization, and now there are rules for that memorial.
Right.
So what happened in Exodus 12 is not going to be what occurs. Well, some of what happened in Exodus 12 is not going to be what occurs from generation to generation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Basically, answer my question because I was curious, how would they have been able to do it that way specifically? If they hadn't gotten to the land yet and the mission was located.
yeah, because you're dealing with a memorial. Also, right, just as Devon always says, textual criticism, right? So Dabarim is written, so Torah is redacted, right? So how Torah is redacted, which means edited, right? So you're dealing with people who finally put it together, priests who put it together now. So Dabarim is his own entity. Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy, as it's written, is its own entity. It is a retelling of the commands, pretty much. You pretty much find all of your important commands in gathering. That's your feast days, dietary law, Shabbat, even the Ten Commandments, everything that would encompass the covenant is in the book of Gathering. So when it's talking about the place that you put your name, one is only specified the sacrifice aspect of it. It's not saying that you can't keep Pesach. It's saying you can't slaughter your Pesach anywhere but Jerusalem. But in chapter 12, it said this is a memorial throughout your generations. So how would you memorialize something? How can you not memorialize something without doing something? We memorialize Shabbat by doing what? Okay. There are actions that you must take in order to memorialize something. You got a question, Anthony?
Oh, no, I'm just,
I know you listened, but
I'm just nodding my head.
Okay, come. Are there any questions online so far? Shabbat shalom, by yourself. Okay, I'll take that as a no. All right. It says you got any questions? Okay. I asked everybody, so I ain't thinking about you just now. All right, cool. So Pesach, one is just to recap, Pesach is a memorialization of the Creator bringing us out of Mitzrayim. That's why we do Pesach. When it comes to the slaughtering of the animal, yes, there are stipulations for you having to be in Jerusalem. Honestly, you're supposed to go to Jerusalem for the entire festival. The 3 festivals you're supposed to go to Jerusalem. What are they? Okay, because those are your harvest festivals. So you would always, that's why he always says, don't come empty-handed. Because you will be coming with your first fruits, and at Pesach, you'll be coming with your pretty much summer harvest, and Shavuot in your fall harvest at Sukkot. So you're always going to Jerusalem to fill the house of the Creator. Right? So in this particular instance, of course, there's no temple. We don't really know who Levi is. We don't have any Kohanim. We don't have any of that. So most of this stuff we can't do, but we can memorialize it by gathering on the day or in the season. We are messed up. Gathering in the season, coming together. No, we're not sacrificing lamb, but I can go to the food line and I can go get some lamb. And I can put it on the grill. It's delicious. Anyway, we can still do parts of what we're supposed to be doing. That's an aspect of getting back to your culture. The Most High said that you will remember yourself or rethink yourselves in the land of your captivity. So that would mean that you will be trying to get as close as you can to the culture that he took you, that he stripped from you. So this is how we're getting closer and closer to the culture that the Creator has given us, knowing that we can't do everything and praying that he forgive us for the things that we are ignorant to and cannot do. All right, okay. So that's Pesach. Now we go into unleavened bread. Unleavened bread is from the 15th, pretty much to the 22nd. You have 7 days of Kadmot, so or the feast of unleavened bread. And the main thing that everybody always talks about when it comes to Pesach and unleavened bread is what? What's the main thing that most of us probably should start doing now?
Leaven.
Okay, leaven. Clean our house. Everybody wants to get vacuumed. They're gonna throw out the toaster. They're gonna look under the bed. They're gonna. It's wild. People do a lot of crazy stuff, which also means you got to vacuum your car too. We'll get to that. All right. So unleavened bread, right? So let's go back into the Shemot, commonly called Exodus chapter 12. Let's talk about leaven. Talk about leaven. So chapter 12, starting at verse 14. So Shemot, commonly called Exodus chapter 12, starting at verse 14. Excuse me, I'm trying to get there. It reads, and this day shall be for you a memorial, and you shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off. And then the first day there shall be a holy convocation. a set apart gathering, and in the seventh day there shall be a set apart gathering. To you, no manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. So you can, only thing you can do on the first and seventh day is cook. Verse 17, and you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in that self-same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Mitzrayim. There shall you observe this day in your generation by ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. You shall eat nothing leavened in all of your habitations, shall you eat unleavened bread. Okay, so a couple things here, right? One, it says that you cannot have it in your house and you cannot eat it. Right, so you can't have it in your house, you can't eat it. Deuteronomy 16, it says that you can't have leaven in your borders, which means that it shouldn't be nowhere within Israel. For us in 2021, that means what? I kind of spoke of it just a minute ago. You can't have any leaven in your house or in your borders. What does that mean?
Your car.
What you say again?
Your car.
Okay, your car, your house, anything that is yours, you should not have leaven in it. That means just go to the auto bill and get your car clean. Okay, but there's, how many types of leaven are there?
2. You said types of leaven?
Yes, sir.
Biological, chemical, that we talking about?
3.
Okay.
I know where you're going, and I think you were actually correct.
Okay,
There are 2 types of leaven. There's the leaven as far as yeast or chemical products, stuff like that, but then there's a leaven in your heart.
okay, I was talking about in scriptures, but yes, that's also what we're gonna touch on. And yes,
Chametz and Seor.
okay, Chametz and Seor. So Chametz and Seor, right? So let me write this on the board. Some people take notes and take pictures. The E. Alright, so we got Seor, which is which means, this just means leaven. Just means leaven. I'm gonna show it to y'all on Zoom in a second, give me a second. Comes from H 7604, which is Sha'ar. Which means remainder. So that's your first one. Number 2 is Chametz. 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 Now this is it also means leaven, but it has some other meanings to it. Leaven, sour, to be cruel, oppress, ruthless, also, I mean, it's a meaning, but it's only used once, which means to be read. And that is the root. I'm gonna show y'all on Zoom real quick, so y'all can screenshot it. I don't know if y'all can see it. Just take a screenshot, please. Don't try to write it, because I'm about to move y'all again. Okay, boom. All right, hallelujah. If not, I'll give y'all Okay, so you have CO, which is 11, which comes from the word sha'ar, and then you have comments, right? So I want to go to Shemot 12:19, same book, 12:19. It says, you shall have no CO in your house. So no leaven in your house, right? A remainder of what? CO means leaven, but the root is remainder, right? So you should have no remainder of what in your house? Great, matter of fact, hold on, pause, let us know the answer. Let's get the obvious out of the way. You should clean your house, comments in CO, right, or leaven, that's dust particles. Dust, cookies, anything. So you're gonna get your physical products out the way. So your toothpastes, your deodorant, your laundry detergent, depends on what kind you got. Laundry detergent, your vinegars, your oils, some of your lotions, a whole lot of stuff, because we're in a land that is meant for you to continue to go against the laws of the Creator. So they put stuff in your stuff that has no meaning for what it's in there for, but they gonna put it in there just so you can have leaven in your house, or you're not supposed to have leaven in your house. And if you don't know, you're gonna think you keep your face out, and there's some stuff in your house that you should be throwing out already, right? So we'll get those lists to everybody as we move forward. Cool, all right? So you have those things, your physical, and then you have dust. So dust, so yes, you have to dust your house and so on and so forth. Can you get all of it out your house?
No.
Okay, all right, boom, glad we got that. So don't nobody come sweating or crying or nothing like that, because the whole point that the Creator is trying to show you that you can't get leaven out by yourself, right? So that's that part. So just want to let everybody know, even on Zoom, don't clean your house, clean everything. I'm not saying don't clean. Clean, try to get as much as you can out. But if you don't and you find something later, that is to remind you to, one, be humble, because you're not 100% righteous. It's a physical representation of you, right? All right, cool. All right, let's get back. Now, Shemot 12:19, it says, no seed oil should be found in your house. Seed oil, the root of that is sha'ar, a remainder. So no remainder of what? The Most High is, of course, as we know, he's later. So a remainder of what should not be in your house? A house could also mean what? House or temple is also what? Oh, okay. I know when I said temple, you did. All right, okay. So the house or the temple is also you. So there should be no remainder of what? What type of leaven should not be in you? We're going to
Sin.
huh?
Sin.
Okay, sin, absolutely. So there should be no, so what kind of sin? So could murder be inside of you? Or thieving be inside of you?
It could be.
How?
How?
Yes, sir.
Maybe the thought of wanting to do.
Okay, so now we're dealing with thoughts. Now we're dealing with the heart of a man. So which would come from what? Those type of thoughts and those type of, of course, murder and thieving is a little high on the list. But sins like that, you gotta go extreme sometimes, Israel. Sins like that can be in you from what? How does that get inside of you?
From like past experiences, like say if you have a bad talk with a brother or sister, you think you get everything out your system, but it's just like some art that's just left behind that you have not completely cleaned it out of your spiritual house.
Okay, you have not, you have things inside of you that have been implanted there in 2021 based on what you see on TV, based on what you're listening to, based on who you talk to, based on who your circle is, what you're reading. All of these things create leaven that you allow into yourself. And we know winter is usually a season when you're doing what? Hibernate, okay, so good word, hibernate, right? So what do squirrels do before they hibernate?
They collect all their nuts.
Okay, so usually in the wintertime or Up until this point, you have stored a lot of stuff in you. So now, Abib is coming, Pesach is coming. Now we got to try to clean all this stuff out. Everything is out. Okay, boom. So we throwing stuff out. Now, when he's saying on this day, on Abib 15, you shouldn't have any remainder of anything that you were supposed to be thrown out of your house, not your physical house, but of you. So it shouldn't be in your house, right? Then he said, don't eat leaven. That's the comments. Don't eat leaven. He said, Seor shouldn't be in your house, right? So your thoughts in your mind, all that, you should kind of clear that out. But comments, leaven, the word there is actually comments, which means leavened bread. But the root of that is this, to leaven, sour, to be cruel, oppressed, so on and so forth, right? He said, don't eat that. But I want to go through some scriptures real quick. Let's go to Jeremiah, commonly called Jeremiah chapter 15. Jeremiah chapter 15, and we're going to start at verse 15. So it's 2 verses, 15. 15 and 16. And it reads, "O Yahuwah, you know, remember me and visit me and revenge me of my persecutors. Take me not away in thy long suffering. Know that for your sake I have suffered rebuke. Your words were found, and I did eat them. And thy word was unto me the joy and rejoicing of mine heart. For I am called by your name, O Yahuwah, Elohim Zabaoth. Your words were found, and I did eat them." Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 3. Yekezekiel, commonly called Ezekiel chapter 3, starting at verse 1. Said, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat what you find. Eat this roll and go speak into the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give you. Then I did eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. So we see we went from eating in Jeremiah to now you see another prophet now be eating, but you see the purpose of him eating was to give back out what he had just consumed. Okay, so now let's go to one more, Revelation chapter 10, verse 9. Revelation, we call Kazon, or Revelation chapter 10, verses 9 and 10. And I went unto the Malach and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the Malach's hand and ate it up. And it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. So we see that the eating is, yes, it's a physical eating. No, you shouldn't be eating crackers and nothing like that. I'm not saying any of that. But it's also a spiritual eating of commands. So let's go to Tehillim, commonly called Psalms, chapter 71. Tehillim, commonly called Psalms, chapter 71. We're going to start at verse 1. In thee, O Yahuwah, do I put my trust. Let me never to be put to confusion. Deliver me of thy righteousness and cause me to escape. Incline thine ear unto me and save me. Be thou my strong habitation, whereunto I may continually resort. Thou hast given commandment to save me, for thou art my rock and my fortress. Deliver me, O my El, out of the hand of the wicked, out of the hand of the unrighteous and cruel man. So verse 4 is a key verse. It said, deliver me, O my El, out of the hand of the wicked, out of the hand of the unrighteous and cruel man. So that word for cruel man is kamat. The cruel man is kamat. So you see the other two characteristics that are associated with this kind of kamat: wickedness and unrighteous. Let's go to Tehillim chapter 73. Psalm 73. It's going to be a long one because we got to get context, but 1 through 21. Tehillim chapter 73, it reads, a psalm of Asaph. Truly Elohim is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compassed them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They are more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. And they said, how doth Elohim know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Verily, I have cleansed my heart in vain, and washed my hands in innocency. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me. Until I went into the sanctuary of Elohim, then I understood therein. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down into destruction. How are they brought into desolation as in a moment? They are utterly consumed with terrors. As a dream when one awaketh, so, O Elohim, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. Verse 21. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. That word for grieved is kamat. Okay, so we see cruelty associated with unrighteousness and wickedness. Then we see a heart being grieved. So how could your heart be grieved to the point that it's leavened?
Is that kind of dealing with kind of like out depression or something like that, where you got a situation going on where that's all you can say, that's all you think about, it holds you in a certain place?
Okay. So it yes, you know, I'm holding off because we'll touch on that in a second. Okay. So you are told not to consume kamet because what you consume becomes what you give. So what you place in you is what you're going to give out, right? So let's look at Wayikra, how we call Leviticus chapter 2, starting at verse 11. Wayikra, a company called Leviticus chapter 2, verse 11, and it reads, no meat offering which you shall bring unto Yahweh shall be made with leaven, but ye shall burn no leaven, nor any honey, and any offering of Yahweh made by fire. So you have both of those words within this one verse. It says, you shall not, sleep out, no meat offering which you shall bring unto Yahweh shall be made with Seol. No, sleep out. With kamats. For ye shall not burn any sea oil, nor any honey, and any offering of Yahuwah made by fire. So, what does that say to you? You do not bring kamas to the, okay?
This Anastasia.
Now, so I picture. Shalom says,
Shalom. I think it's speaking about both your heart and your thought process and your heart and your physical.
So you don't bring physical leaven or a loaf of bread. You don't bring that to the altar with the Creator, nor do you bring you don't bring grief or violence or anything like that. Yes, sir.
Just asking, would an example of that be Cayenne's offering to the Most High?
Oh, yes, sir. Because it said that you don't bring comments to it, which is the meat offering is the mika, and that's what they were offering. So the same offering, Cain or Cain, right? So for those who don't know the story of Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel. Cain's offering was a mika, so it was Adon Habel or Abel's. Both of their offerings were mikas, but for some reason, Cain's, it didn't say anything about the offering that it was spawned or anything like that. It just said the Most High did not acknowledge it. But now we see here in Wayikra chapter 2, verse 11, the Most High saying, you don't bring comments to an offering that you are giving to me. I'm not going to regard it. Then we see after, which we're actually going to touch on that, which kind of went back to your previous point, in regards of the cruelty. So what's in your heart, what you have in your heart is going to come out, which will take me to another point, right? So what is the leaven? What is leaven?
It's like yeast, like it spreads to whatever you put it around.
Okay. So leaven is what spreads to whatever you put it around, right? So what could, if you had to, listen, I'm not saying, you got your hand up?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, okay. So leaven is something that is added to something, right? Okay.
So something that's already there.
Leaven's in the air naturally too.
So like you said, if
That's no.
we use the example earlier that can you get all the dust out of the house, right? You know, every day you open the door, dust coming. You know, well, eventually, if you don't maintain whatever section of your house is, it keeps on rising and build up and build up. Build up.
So I like that, and I want to go to where I'm going forward. Let's go to Bereshit chapter 4. Bereshit, commonly called Genesis chapter 4. And we're going to start at verse 4. So Bereshit, commonly called Genesis chapter 4, we start at verse 4. And it reads, and Abel, he also brought of his firstling of his flock. So now let me go to verse 3. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahuwah. And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock and the fat thereof. And Yahuwah had respect unto Abel and to his offering, or Mika, or gift offering. But unto Cain and to his gift offering, he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And Yahuwah said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance falling? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So as Adon was saying, we said, it's something that's always there. What is always in our nature? Cain. Sin is always there, right? But you can rule over sin, right? But what makes a person sin? Everybody, can y'all go back to Deuteronomy 16? As y'all answer that question, if somebody wants to. What makes a person sin?
Pride.
The flesh.
Okay, somebody said, Kyle, yeah, I heard you. Somebody said flesh.
Yes, the flesh.
Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 16. Okay, and I want to touch on what you said, Kyle, just now. It says, verse 3, thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread there with even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. So question, the unleavened bread is equivalent to what?
Righteousness.
Read verse 3, unleavened bread is equivalent to what?
Was that the bread of affliction?
Okay, unleavened bread. Unleavened bread. Equates to affliction. That's why you are eating that, right? That's what the Most High says. So this particular substance, Joseph, you up here?
What did you say?
As Joseph, well, you know too, it's your daughter. What is the word for affliction?
What is the word for affliction? Anah?
Okay. Anah, which means what?
To humble, to answer.
Humility and to respond.
Yeah, she be doing that.
Okay, so if unleavened bread equals affliction, which is the word for affliction, which is only, but the root of only is anah, which means humility or to respond. And that means that this would have to be the opposite of this. So the leaven that is added to it is what? Leaven is what? The leaven is your pride. Your leaven is your pride.
I was gonna say,
Okay, because it's gonna puff you up, which will prevent you from responding appropriately. So you if you're humble, you're able to hear and you're gonna do whatever it is that the Most High told you to do. Your pride is gonna make you what he told Cain, if you do well, should you not be accepted, right? So I want to go back to what Adon said when he was talking about depression, right? I know, some of y'all may really hate this subject. Let me turn this around. Can you hold this and point at the board for me? You point at the board, don't look at the people. What is this?
Can we get a little closer?
It's an improper fraction, right? How would you simplify this?
man.
How would you simplify this?
Them little people should know how.
I know she just looked away. 1.5, right? This is the Seol. This is, it really should be this, right? This is how you get humble. When your pride is canceled out by humility. I know I'm writing sideways due to the left-handedness in me. When your pride is canceled out by your humility. Meaning what? So a couple of examples, right? We could even Oh, my fault, hold on. Okay, cool. So we can either go with the aspect of Cain and Abel. So he had pride when his offering wasn't accepted. The Most High spoke to him, which is supposed to, if you're angry, right, and I come to you and I talk you down, right, that should do what to your anger? It should calm you down, it should cancel it. Most people don't want to do what when they're angry? No, well, yes, but they don't want to do what? They don't want to listen. If you angry, I'm like, yo, come talk to me. No, I don't want to listen right now. Yo, I don't want to listen right now. Why? Because your pride has you to a point where if I talk to you, the humility will cancel it out. But because of your pride or your leaven, because of your leaven, pride comes before a fall, you're not going to listen. So you're going to wind up destroying yourself. So the Most High is saying, during this week, you shouldn't have a remainder of anything in the world because I'm taking you from it. And there should be no cruelty or oppression within you because I'm taking you from that as well. So don't add back to what you're eating, what you're intaking from what I'm taking you out of. Most people during the week of unleavened bread, they take everything out, and then as soon as unleavened bread, they do what? They bring everything right back in. So it was never really clean. You're not really cleaning it. You're just removing it, putting the cloth over it. Then when it's over, you're gonna bring all that right back. You're gonna bring your nastiness right back. You're gonna bring your rudeness right back. You're gonna bring your disobedience right back. You're gonna bring your pride right back. You're gonna bring all of that right back. And the Most High is saying, complete 7 days is what? 7 is what? Completely remove this. And what you can't do, which is why you're humble or afflicted, I will do. He told you to circumcise his heart, or he gonna circumcise your heart? You or him?
You're going to circumcise your heart.
Yes,
You circumcise your heart, but then later when he said, give you a heart of flesh. So what you're saying is you have to circumcise your heart now.
he said, you circumcise your heart, and I'm gonna circumcise your heart. Why would you need to be circumcised twice unless you didn't do it right or you couldn't do it completely? That's the same thing with kagmatso. You're not going to get all the leaven out your house. You're not going to get all the leaven out of you. But if you submit to the Creator, then He will do the rest. But He's not going to clean out your whole house. That's why He's asking you to do it first. 7 days, you completely get it out. Guess what? I'm going to remove what you missed. The things that are just in the air. I'm going to remove you from it so you can be put in a place that's told, right? So can you be pridefully grieved?
Sure.
How?
All right, say you feel as though someone did something to you and hurt you, but instead of letting it go or accepting somebody's forgiveness, you continue to harp on it, and you continue to let that leaven build inside of you. So even the person apologizes, you still don't care.
Because the apology is supposed to, no, it's not going to immediately, that's supposed to be able to break down some of that leaven that you have collected based on them hurting you. So even if they apologize, you're like, no, I don't care about your apology. That's your pride. That's leaven. And now you're going to go from greed to now you're going to be cruel. Because they say this hurt people. Oh, so the reason why you're hurting people is because you haven't let go of the leaven inside of you. So now what you have inside of you is now going to come out of you to people who have nothing to do with that original situation. But because it's in you, it's always going to come out of you. Which is why Mashiach said what? It is not what you put in your mouth that defiles a man, but what comes out, because what comes out is an expression of what was already in you. What you put in your mouth, if it's waste, it's going to come out your body. But what is already inside of you is going to come out, and it's going to have whatever effect that it's supposed to have. So don't have the leaven inside of you, and it won't come out. Or if you do have it inside of you, when somebody is trying, when humility comes, you should take heed to it. Go ahead, Aki.
He also said that you have to clean the inside of the glass as well as the outside of the glass.
Okay. He said, you fools, if you clean the inside of the glass, the outside is clean. Without you touching it. If you clean the inside, the outside is, okay. All right.
It's reminded of, there's a product, I used to work in GNC, there's a product called glutamine. And what glutamine does to your blood vessels, all year long you're eating, right? And your blood vessels pick up so much toxins and stuff, so it messes with your blood flow for natural circulation of the human body. So what a glutamine does, so you can take it like once every 3 months and it gets out all the toxins. So your blood can flow. But if you don't do that, unless you're eating in foods, you just walk around with clogged up blood vessels. So I say, take this glutamine. So if you're lifting weights or whatever, the nitrous oxide and the prosecutors can flow properly because you don't got so much buildup in your blood vein.
Right. I need that, by the way. Write it down with that. Okay. You have to have something to clear out what it is that you have been putting in you for a year. This happens once a year. And then we have, in the middle of the year, we have something called Yom Kippur, where you're supposed to also be trying to clear stuff out of you. But most people do, fake apologies. If I've harmed anybody or done anything, please forgive me.
Yeah, you only do it around that time.
Yeah. Okay, so now you got 6 months of claw that you think that one little apology is going to clear all that out of you. It's not. Which is also, Yom Kippur, you're also supposed to do what on Yom Kippur? Or the Day of Atonement? Afflict yourself.
I know.
It's the same thing. The Most High is telling you every 6 months you should be afflicting yourself. If you have it throughout the year, you should be afflicting yourself so you are humble and you are able to respond. Because if not, then things like this will happen. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 26. 2 Chronicles, or Debris, Hayamim, Bet. 2 Chronicles chapter 26. And then we're going to start at verse 16. Second Chronicles 26, starting at verse 16, it says, but when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction. But he transgressed against Yahuwah his Elohim, and went into the temple of Yahuwah to burn incense upon the altar of incense. And Azariah, the priest, went in after him, and with 80 priests of Yahuwah that were mighty men. And they withstood Uzziah, or Azariah, the Melech, and said unto him, it appertaineth not unto thee, or lo lekah, not for you, Uzziah, to burn incense unto Yahuwah, but to the Kohanim, the sons of Aaron, that are consecrated to burn incense. Get out of the sanctuary, for thou hast trespassed. Neither shall it be for thine honor for Yahuwah. Then Uzziah was wroth, and had a censer in his hand to burn incense. And while he was wroth with the priest, the leprosy even rose up in his forehead before the Kohanim in the house of Yahuwah from beside the incense altar. So I'm going to start reading there, but if you finish reading, pretty much the Kohanim, they pick him up, throw him out. It's the king, but they pick him up, throw him out because he got leprosy. Now you can't be touched. He never went back to his domain, and his son took over. But the point here, that the reason why we went here is that it said that his pride was lifted up even to his destruction, right? So he went in to burn incense. Maybe he thought he was now he was, in the order of Melchizedek. But anyway, he wasn't, obviously. So your pride came first, and then somebody came to humble you, let you know, lo lekah, it's not for you. You need to get out. So that's supposed to cancel, but there was a remainder of pride. There was a remainder of his anger. But there was a remainder of his anger. So from that remainder of your anger, now you got leprosy, and everything that you have no more within one moment. Within one moment of not humbling yourself to the Creator, not to the Kohanim, not to people, which one thing that we have a problem with is we don't want to hear people talk. We want to hear the Most High talk. Not knowing that the Most High talks through people. So because you don't want to hear the people, you want to hear the Most High. Now the people are going to tell you the Most High no longer speak to you anyway. And now you have to get up out of the temple and you have to go on your way. And somebody else is going to fill your spot because you have too much leaven inside of you. So this is what Kagmatso is about. The deeper version of Kagmatso. Not just cleaning your house, not just smelling musty unless you got some lemons or something like that for deodorant. It's about what is inside of a man will come out of a man. And what he's asking you to have in you. And even though, as we have said, there's always going to be comments around, there's always going to be CO, there's always going to be things you hear, you see, that you eat, that you put inside of you voluntarily, that is not told. He's asking you to see that and remove it. So that being said, that's pretty much all I have. Are there any questions or comments in regards to Pesach or unleavened bread? I got a question. You got a question? Anybody on Zoom have any questions or comments?
Hello. No question. Just wanted to say, so blessing overall, and Shabbat Shalom to everybody. I know we kind of chimed in a little bit late.
Everybody here told since you good? Good, I mean, great. All right, and I'll let y'all Zoom people have at it whenever y'all want to. But kind of Torah about y'all attentiveness. It's always an honor to stand before the people of y'all. Not something that was it's a gift. It's a gift. I love y'all. One more time for Zoom. Y'all good? Y'all sure?
I have questions later.
Yeah, you have questions later?
Yeah, I'm gonna read it first.
Oh, okay. Awesome, great. Torah about Sarah, yeah, Torah says. Okay, all right. Well, with that being said, hallelujah. Let us go ahead and pray out. Most of the sisters are not here this week. That's why we have no food. Usually we eat so next week, hopefully, we'll have something. Hallelujah. Todayah. Our Elohim, our King, our Redeemer, our Savior. The one who makes everything else move. We pray, Father God, that this gathering, Abiyah, was pleasing in your sight. And that if I have made any mistakes, Abiyah, or have misspoken, Abiyah, that you correct them, not only to me, Abiyah, but to your people. Allow there not to be any comments within us, Father God. And if there is, Father God, we pray that if we do not get it all out, Abiyah, that you do. That there be no remainder, Abiyah, of Mitzrayim within us. Within the system of Babylon, Abiyah. That it not be within us, Father God. That we may walk before you blamelessly, doing your will. Loving you with all of our heart, soul, and might, and loving those around us as we love ourselves. Taking care of those who cannot take care of themselves. Allow that to be so, oh yeah. As we depart here, Father God, we know that there's still more time, Abiyah, for you to speak to us. So we pray, Abiyah, that you continue to teach us, to lead us, to guide us, Abiyah, in your ways, on your path. For we are all servants of you. We are all students in your classroom, oh yeah. Bless those, Abiyah, who may not feel 100%, Abiyah. Bless the bodies from the sole of their heads to the top of the crown of their heads to the soles of their feet, oh yeah. Heal our hearts, heal our minds. May you watch over our elders, may you continue to strengthen them. Continue to allow them the opportunity, Abiyah, Give them wisdom to relay the wisdom that you have given them over their lives, Father God, to us who are still in the beginning portions of our journeys, if it be your will. Strengthen the Anashim, or the men, that we be mighty men of Yahuwah, that we lead the way we are supposed to lead, Father God, that we teach and we guide those who are under us, those of our households, those who are even not in our households, Abiyah, but who do not know your name, Abiyah. Allow us to be a beacon of light even unto them. As your son, Yahushua, was adored because he spoke, thus saith Yahuwah. Allow us also to be the doors, Abiyah, that are in this generation. That through the words that we speak, Abiyah, that they may go through us, Abiyah, and to you. For you are the goal. You are the mark. For you said, be perfect, for you are perfect. You said, be set apart, for you are set apart. And there is none like you, O Yah. Allow us to be what our Father is. Allow us to regain that image, Abiyah, that you created Adam in, which is male and female, Abiyah. You created them in your image. So allow our Nashim, the women, Abiyah, to understand that they have a role to play in this thing. That they have wisdom also that you have imparted within them, Abiyah, to give to the nation. Now we need both. Continue to watch after the Yeladim, Abiyah, as they continue to grow. Guard their minds, Abiyah. Put a fence around their minds. Allow us to be a fence or a border around them, Father God. That nothing that is told or good or functional escapes, and nothing that is wrong or dysfunctional or evil comes in their midst. But allow us to be their shields, Father God, as you are our shield. Where you said, unless you watch over the city, the watchmen have labored in vain. So you watch over us, Abiyah, and give us the insight and the wisdom to watch over them. As we continue to try to rebuild this nation as you saw fit. Hallelujah. Torah Rabbah, even for the brothers, for Alan, Glenn, Torah for their lives, and even having them amongst us, Father Yah, for Sarah, for Mariah, for all of those who have come, Abiyah, and dined with us, Abiyah, as we dine with you. Be with them as well. Be with all of Israel. We long for the day when we are all together as one. As you have said in your word, Abiyah, one people with one language, serving one Elohim. Baruch atah Yahuwah. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. Bless you, Yahuwah. Bless the name Yahuwah. And bless the one who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Hallelujah. 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 Amen. All right, Mr. McCobb on Zoom. Shall see y'all soon.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Mama.
That's one.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, family. Shabbat shalom.
No, toe left and down.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Madon.
Shabbat shalom, Madon.
I'll put your glasses on.
Huh? I have my contacts in. Hey.
Which one?
Hold on. That's all right.
She look crazy.
That's fine.
Hey, Lana. Hey, how y'all? Love y'all.
Wait, I'm coming.
I'll see y'all later. Yeah,
All right, later, Don.
crazy auntie is calling me, so I gotta answer her phone call.
No, you good, do you think?
Okay. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
history and everything.